Hello everyone and welcome to another entry in our free-for-all series. In this game I'm going to be playing the High Elves led by Tyrion, and we're going to be facing off against Black Iron as the Skaven, Dob plays as the Dark Elves, and Toss as the Lizardmen. So let's jump right into this game, guys, and have a bit of fun. So for my lord, I wanted to bring Tyrion because he's very durable and quick. He has 125 armor, he has impeccable leadership, and he also has 94 speed. And free-for-all is kind of like one of those Wild West type formats where you never really know what's going to happen, so having someone that's durable, isn't going to get cheesed out by some, dragon flying in from across the map that you weren't expecting is definitely very important. We also decided to bring two Dragon Princes because, mobility is so good in free-for-all. For example, I can, kind of strike on the Skaven, and if I'm getting pressured from the other side from, like I mentioned, an unexpected attack, I can peel the Dragon Princes and go deal with that. So I definitely think having mobility is quite good. So you can see that Toss over here did Vanguard deploy some Pterodon Riders who were just trolling this Skaven. So you can see that Black Iron here is advancing on me, but he's definitely in for some trouble. The Doom Wheel right here is coming in pretty hot, but I did have some Dragon Princes hiding in the forest. I don't know if they were actually hidden, but they're basically just going to pin this thing down and just absolutely destroy it. He does have another Doom Wheel coming in here, but I did bring a Light Wizard because nets of Amnitok are so good when you have archers. So right now I'm just going to net this thing down and basically just kind of waste it right now. But the real problem for Black Iron, these nets are nice and everything, and getting the Doom Wheel, it still would have been a very hard fight for me if these guys had gotten to me. But you can see over here, we do have the Chariots of Dob plays. So he has Cold One Chariots, and he also does have Malekith on a chariot. So there's just going to be so much damage coming in here. You can see that Malekith drops a big juicy Blade Storm. It gets a little bit of contact here on the Plague Monks, but then it just cuts through these Plague Monks, takes out about 40% of their HP, so it definitely isn't fun in free-for-all being the one that gets sandwiched. You can see the Dragon Princes in here coming in pretty hot and heavy, running over some of these Skaven slaves, and obviously the slaves aren't going to be able to even touch them, but they do have the Unholy Clamor, so leadership and vigor coming from that. But it's definitely tough. You can see the one Doom Wheel here, I think got broken off the map, the one that my guys had caught over here. No, it's very low actually, so it did survive. Tyrion's going to be intercepting this bad boy and doing some good damage. You can see it's wavering, and I do have Lothar and Seaguard here, so they do have the anti-large to deal with that. Although I think the Doom Wheels don't count as large units right now. I don't know if that's a bug or if it just says it in the tooltip, but it doesn't say they're large, which is very strange. So you can see my Dragon Princes here are able to deal with the other Doom Wheel, and the Phoenix Guard here. Obviously they're not, great in the matchup versus Skaven, but they're so tanky and durable. The Skaven, at least these infantry, aren't going to be able to really do much against them. So I'm just kind of holding here. I did get another net on his Grey Seer, so you can see I'm getting some spears and some focus fire. Unfortunately, he did summon some clan rats right on top of my archers, so that's going to be very tough. So in the back, you can see Dob Place does have a pretty healthy force. He's basically just cleaning up the scraps of the Skaven. He brought his chariots in and was casting Blade Storm, so Black Iron really had a rough start because he got sandwiched between both of us, which was really tough. But now, guys, this is where things get a little bit interesting. You can see the dinos. They're basically just chilling in the forest. You can see they're just kind of chatting in here. It's kind of like the Ent Moot from Lord of the Rings, where they're just like deciding if they want to go to war. You can see this. Did you guys see that? That was just a direct hit. Oh, I'm sorry. That was really loud. Oh, goodness. That Bastillodon just seriously just like blasted Krokar in the face. Oh, man. I think that's the hardest I've ever laughed in my YouTube channel. Oh, man. Just give me a second, guys. Alright, so over here, basically, we just have kind of a mosh pit, the Dragon Princes. Oh, okay, calm down over here. So we do have the Assassin in the pits. He's fighting with a bunch of rats, but you can see the Dragon Princes are basically just cleaning up shop. Honestly, the Skaven just took too much of a beating from multiple angles. Right now, you can see another net of Amnitok coming down right here. So Tyrion's going to be able to get in here and just take out this Grey Seer. And of course, I do have some Spearmen who should be able to kind of seal the deal. So Black Iron's pretty much out of the picture. If you look at the numbers right now, I'm at 66. Black Iron's still in second place with 31, but honestly, his army's pretty much going to get completely shattered over here, and that's going to be all she wrote for him. So, man, I'm just having trouble getting my composure back after that laser lizard and Krokar. I was just like talking about how they were having like an Ent Moot in the forest, and then he just literally shoots him right in the dome. But anyways, it looks like the lizards have sent in a few Bastillodons who are kind of trolling on some of my white lions. And the problem with like bringing a lot of archers is they do tend to run out of ammunition. So you can get a lot of kills early, but you can see I'm pretty much empty now. And there's still so much fighting left. Dob Place has a really good army coming in. He's pretty much full health. He has the Blackguard of Nagaron. He has the Witch Elves coming in. He's got some spears. He has a Death Hag. And his chariots back here, the Cold One Chariots, are in really good health. But you can see the mighty Black Iron not giving up at all. He does have his Gutter Runners, and despite such a rough start, he's fighting to the bitter end. But the Skaven, when their Lord does die, and his Grey Seer did indeed die, they tend to have some issues with that. So I'm basically just going to be reforming ranks right now. Dob Place and I both recognize, we're like, hey, the Lizardmen are pretty much full health. They have a ton of high HP durable monsters, and I'm pretty tattered from that fight with Black Iron. My Dragon Princes racked up a ton of kills, 116 here, and then also these ones had 89 kills. So right now I've basically been able to isolate some of these Feral Bastillodons, so I wanted to really get these guys off the battlefield, so using my Spearmen and my Dragon Princes, who, obviously don't have the best AP values, but you can see he's also applying some pressure, so he's basically just turtling in the forest. He has a nice little formation of skinks over here. But it looks like these guys are like the guard Bastillodons right here, and Dob Plays and I are just kind of confused. We're like, what do we do here? Do we like form an alliance of men and elves? I mean, I guess it's technically just like elves and elves, but do we form a last alliance? And I think that's what we're gonna probably end up doing in this battle. So right now we're just basically picking off the Bastillodons he sent in, reforming ranks, because you know, it was a bit of an uneasy alliance. I thought about advancing on the lizards, but I was kind of like, is Dov gonna backstab me and just come in here with his witch elves and different things like this? You can see I'm taking some fire from these stupid pterodactyls back here. I didn't want to waste ammunition on them because I thought they were kind of like a non-factor, but they actually just ran out of ammunition. And they did get 85 kills, most of which were on the Skaven. So you can see Black Iron has been eliminated, a true patriot. And guys, if you haven't, go check out his YouTube channel. He does a lot of like live battles and, you know, pretty much it's very similar stuff to what I do as well. So he does live battles, he does post-game commentary. Definitely a very good player, but, you know, caught in a very unfortunate circumstance. But a true patriot of the Skaven. He took that like a champ, just kept fighting to the bitter end. So definitely go check out his channel. So this Bastillodon right here is kind of getting ramrodded by some of these Phoenix guards. So this is going pretty well. In free-for-all, guys, you always got to bring a well-rounded army. Like, my army, like, had I brought this to multiplayer, I don't know how it would have done. Like, you know, and it's like, well, it has something for everything. You have the white lines of, you know, with the white lines against armor. You have some Phoenix Guard against the dinos. You have some archers against large targets and against dark shards. So you definitely need to be well-rounded here. So we're able to kind of fend off these Bastillodons. You can see he still is doing some decent damage against my Phoenix Guard. And these guys keep breaking and coming back. Bastillodons only have like 60 leadership, but, you know, they hit pretty hard. The drawback of them is their leadership, and of course they do have fairly low combat stats. They only have like 22 melee attack and 24 melee defense. So you're usually gonna hit them. Like, for example, this Bastillodon, it's full health, and it's basically about to waver and rout off, so that's kind of an example of that. So you can see Dob Plays over here with Malekith is forming a bit of a battle line, and now he's advancing, so I'm going to be advancing as well. It's basically just like the cinematic. There's no Skaven, there's no Skaven left, and it's just the three factions, the Dark Elves, the High Elves, and the Lizardmen, about to meet in a cataclysmic battle. So we're able to kind of fend these foul beasts off. You can see they're running back to their masters over here. So we'll fast forward just a little bit to kind of get this show on the road for you guys, because I know it's very long and atrocious. A lot of posturing left. Unfortunately, I'm out of charges of Sunfang, so I split my forces in half here. I have my Dragon Princes. I'm like, I need to finish these off. You can see Dob Plays being a hero over here as well with Malekith, kind of fighting against these solar engines, trying to shut them down. But the chariots are rampaging, so he doesn't really have a choice here. And that's kind of the drawback of the Cold One Chariots. They have really good stats. They have good missile attacks and everything with the armor-piercing damage, so they definitely bring good utility. But they do rampage, so if they take enough damage, they're going to be in some trouble. So Dob Plays, what he did right here is he actually he baited in all these monsters. He was like, "Come at me, bro." Krokar came in. Of course, he couldn't refuse a bro challenge. So he comes in there, and then he popped a nice Soul Stealer, which is going to do some decent AoE damage. You can see up here he has some Dread Spears, and now Dob Plays and I, we've had enough of waiting. So the fight begins. You can see my Phoenix Guard in here against the Witch Elves. So, the Witch Elves will definitely lose this over the course of a battle, but he does have a Death Hag coming in, and my guys are taunted. And the Phoenix Guard were also quite low. So, when this guy comes in here with the Death Hag, the Phoenix Guard might actually lose now that the Death Hag's in here. But I do have all my Dragon Princes coming in to provide some support. So you can see these Blackheart Corsairs are definitely having some trouble, but there's a darn Carnosaur that just came out of nowhere. He was like hanging out in the forest and decided to just come join the party. So it's definitely looking pretty grim for all of our troops here. So I just pull back my Dragon Princes and leave the white lines to fight, because they're obviously not going to be able to run away there. Unfortunately, Tyrion does get taunted right now, so he's very low. Tyrion's at 1300 HP, but I think the Heart of Averlorn pops here relatively soon once he drops a little bit lower. But the Witch Elves do have him taunted. Malekith does pull back, but unfortunately for me, Malekith's in really good health. Over here we do have a battle between these High Elf and Dark Elf infantry, and I love the way that the High Elf spearmen hold their spears. They have like the shield up, the spear over it. It just looks so darn cool. So a pretty even fight here. There's no way of telling which way this is really going to go. I do have some Lothern Sea Guard who aren't terrible in melee. They do have high melee defense, but the Witch Elves will definitely beat them down. So it's probably going to favor Dob Plays in this engagement. But over here, it's not too bad for me. I do have some archers left, some white lions. Malekith's running a little bit wild. You can see Tyrion's quite low. And over here, guys, the Lizardmen. So Dob Plays did send these Dread Spears over, which was very helpful for both of us, essentially, because it kept all these dinosaurs busy. And a lot of them are rampaging. So if we look at the score, I'm at 16,000. So even though my army's looking a little bit tattered, I did a ton of damage to the Skaven initially. I did drop a pretty good banishment right here, which pretty much just broke these Witch Elves and sent them running. And it looks like something terrified these Witch Elves. Yeah, just like the cinematic, the Carnosaur comes in and stomps over the Witch Elves, which is good. But Dob Plays does have his Blackguard and Auguron right here, which do have the anti-large and armor piercing to get through that Carnosaur. So hopefully these bad boys can finish off this foul beast. But yeah, just a very, very wild pitched fight, and the dinosaurs definitely threw a bit of a wrench in things, because they kind of just sat and waited for the fighting to really start, which is something, most people just rush in and fight, but the dinos just, ran into the forest and kind of shot each other in the face with their solar engines, which was pretty great. And man, that's definitely the hardest I've laughed on the channel, I think, ever. So the Dragon Princes here are going to be reforming after they are done getting blasted by these solar engines, but thankfully the solar engines are about to run out of ammunition. But obviously, guys, the drawback of waiting so long is that you're going to be a little bit behind on the score. And if you can't, like, if everyone just kills each other and you're there with a full army, you will get points for what you have left. But again, they'll also get quite a bit of points from fighting and, you know, of course, have a chance at doing some damage to you. So right now, again, another reforming. So basically, I was fighting some of Dobbs' troops over here, and we saw the lizards coming in. And both of us were kind of like probably thinking the same thing, like, okay, neither of us have a chance of winning if we don't shut down the dinos, because if all of this stuff survived for the dinosaurs and we fought to the death, he would probably get a ton of points and he'd be able to clean up both of us. So we form a last alliance of Dark Elves and High Elves, and he's going to be charging in here, and I'm going to be coming up and under and just trying to get on Krok-Gar. So Krok-Gar is going to be so hard to kill. He's full health. He probably still has a cold blood. You can see those darn solar engines are still shooting. Dog Plays does have some Dread Spears over here, but it looks like the Feral Bastillodon is going to finish off that cold one chariot. So right now we do have the final cataclysmic showdown as these Feral Bastillodons do charge in here and ramrod some of these Corsairs, and they actually do terrify the Witch Elves. So the only unit here for Dog Plays that are immune to psychology are the Black-Hearted Nogron. So my Dragon Prince is coming here right now, and I charge down some of these Skinks. So you can see Krok-Gar is going to jump in and fight. He does pop all of his abilities. And I do have some Phoenix Guard left, very tattered, but I still do have 18. I'm basically just waiting for an opportunity for Krok-Gar to kind of expose himself. So this is it. Malekith jumps in on Krok-Gar, and he gets the Death Hag in there. He's just kind of ramming him with his cart. And then I come in with Tyrion and my Light Mage, and this is it. This is the final chance. The last alliance is going to stand up to this foul dinosaur tyrant. We do have him surrounded, and hopefully we can get him down. He does pop Cold Blood, which is very risky because it lowers his melee defense down to 13. So you can see Krok-Gar starting to take a ton of damage. All of these guys are coming in. I have some High Elf Spears who are going to do some good work. And it looks like the Death Hag does fall to Krok-Gar. So man, he is just a tyrant right now. Great health, and he's tail whipping Tyrion. His things are just absolutely out of control. I do have my 17 Phoenix Guard right here who might actually be able to defend off this Bastillodon. I mean, Phoenix Guard are so damn good. I do have also a group of Lothern Sea Guard here, so these guys are so tattered. There's only 15 of them, but just shooting and doing all the damage they can to Krok-Gar. And it looks like our joint forces here, Dog Plays, and I might be able to kill Krok-Gar, at least rout him off the battlefield, so he's incredibly low. But Tyrion is getting attacked right now, so I do pop the Feint and Riposte, which is going to give him a ward save against physical, melee defense, and melee attack. But Krok-Gar's just going crazy, just headbutting him, doing a ton of damage. Tyrion's down to 800 HP. He's about to drop really, really low, and I'm really hoping that Heart of Averlorn will proc, because you can see, man, he's at 500 HP, so this is such a dangerous situation. I mean, Krok-Gar almost has enough weapon strength to just one-shot him from there. So we're able to get this Bastillodon down. These High Elf Phoenix Guard just being true champions right here, doing some great work. So hopefully we can rout that guy off, but that charge just does a bunch of damage, so it's just so close on all fronts. But basically right here, I was just chasing Krok-Gar, and this was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made in the game. I pulled back. I pulled out, boys, and that is not how you do it, because Krok-Gar's going to come back. He probably still has Cold Blood, and we really needed to finish him. That was just such a dicey decision right there. So right now I was kind of like, hey, Dov's getting a little bit crazy here. He still has Malekith. He's in really good health. So I just charge in Tyrion right here and also my net. So I use Net of Amnitalk. I get Phoenix Guard on him. He is on a large chariot right here. So we're going to be able to do some great damage. And Tyrion has amazing duelist stats. He does have a, 77 melee attack and 60 melee defense because martial prowess is obviously gone. But he's still able to do some massive damage against Malekith. Malekith is kind of pinned right here. I do have the Lothern Sea Guard with their spears. I have some spearmen coming in, and it looks like his Black Guard and Ogron aren't really able to get over to Malekith because they are surrounded by this Bastillodon. So right now I kind of just have free range, but you can see that Tyrion is really low. He's at 400 HP, so we're about to get to that threshold where the Heart of Averlorn, I think I should have popped by now, although I'm not sure what his total HP pool is, but there it is. Check that out. That is so incredibly powerful. He's back to 2k HP. He's in good shape, and things are definitely looking pretty good. So the lizards are still kind of a force to be reckoned with. You can see they have two Bastillodons right here, and Big Daddy Krok-Gar is back in the forest, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, he's back here. He's going after some of these Dread Spears and just routing them off, supporting his Feral Bastillodon, which is out of control, so it's probably going to make its way back to this part of the battlefield. But you can see that Malekith is very low. So basically, I'm just riding my troops around, trying to goon him down. You could she does have her pimp staff, and she's getting like dragged by Malekith right here. But he's very low. The chariot isn't as fast, 66 speed, and I do have a 94 here and 69 on my sorcerers right here, or my mage, I guess I should say. And you can see like we do have a bit of an alliance here. My spears and the Black Guard are like trying to take down this beast, but man, just a wild free-for-all, guys. Definitely very fun. This is probably only the third or fourth free-for-all that I've played since release. So if you guys want to see more free-for-alls on the channel, please let me know. I mean, I really enjoy them, but again, I want something that you guys will enjoy as well. So let me know if you want to see more free-for-alls, and I will definitely oblige. Also, Dob Plays does have a YouTube channel as well as Black Iron, so definitely check out Dob Plays. He's going to be putting up this free-for-all from his perspective. He also does a lot of quick battles and competitive stuff. So Malekith right here is shattered, so the Dark Elves are basically online. So right now it's just me versus the Dinos. I have such a massive lead though. I have 20,000 compared to his 8.9. So even if, you know, Daddy Krokar is able to get me, and look at Malekith, he gets gunned down, that laser lizard, you know, the one, probably the same one who shot freaking Krokar earlier in the game. You know, gets a nice blast, but yeah, this laser lizard kind of volleys coming in here at the end is making it really tough. And you can see that Tyrion's having a little bit of trouble getting hit by that Bastillodon, and as well as Krokar, so he's probably not going to be able to make it. You can see he does get kind of pounced on right there. He's probably going to shatter, does have 400 HP, and he's terror routed. So right now my mage is actually probably going to terror out as well. So had they fought to the death, I might have had a chance, but there's so many wild dinosaurs running around. So my mage charges in like a true hero. But, you know, you can see Krokar is at 700 HP, which is a lot. This mage doesn't have good armor piercing value, so it's probably going to be all she wrote. So despite that, the High Elves, yeah, I was talking like I'm in the third person, but I was actually able to take that game. The High Elves won. You can see I do have 21,000 points. So the Lizardmen got like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 from their victory and having some troops left over. But again, you can't win by just sitting back. You got to get in there and do as much damage as you can. And of course, I mean, there is some kind of ideology to kind of sitting in reserve and timing your engagement for when other people are fighting. But I do think that Toss waited a little bit too long. He definitely needed to get in on some of that, you know, Skaven bloodshed. There was a lot of meat to be had there. So very well played to Dob plays, Toss, and Black Iron. That was a really fun one. Definitely some shenanigans in there. But if you guys want to see more free for all, let me know, and I will definitely oblige. So guys, have an excellent night, and take care.